Hello everyone, this is Saurabh and today we are reading chapter 3 of 36 Stratagems, ancient strategy text in China. So let's have a look at the various attacking stratagems or strategies. 打草惊蛇 to stomp the grass to scare the snake. The plan to stomp grass and startle the snake means that one should not act rashly on the hidden enemy, so as to prevent the enemy from discovering the intention of our army and take the initiative. The other means to use the method of pretending and assisting to grass and attract the snake to move, ambush, gather, annihilate it. The ancients said the enemy is not exposed, the conspiracy is deep, and it is impossible to advance lightly. Those who have dangerous obstacles will have to stomp the grass because the traitor is hidden. Do something unaimed but spectacular, hitting the grass, stomping the grass, to provoke a response of the enemy, startle the snake, thereby giving away his plans or position, or just taunt him. Do something unusual, strange, and unexpected, as this will arouse the enemy's suspicion and disrupt his thinking. More widely used as startle the snake by hitting the grass. An imprudent act will give his position or intention away. The second attack strategy, 借尸还魂, borrow a corpse to resurrect the soul. Take an institution, a technology, a method, or even an ideology that is forgotten or discarded and use it for your own purpose. Revive something from the past by giving it a new purpose or bring to life old ideas, customs, or traditions and reinterpret them to fit your purpose. It refers to the strategy of using and controlling those forces that have not done anything to achieve our purpose so far. Such situations occurs in war, and forces that are useful to both sides are often difficult to control and use. The forces that do nothing often see backing. At this time, using and controlling these forces can often achieve the goal of winning. Tian Hu Li Shan lured the tiger off its mountain lair. Never directly attack an opponent whose advantage is derived from its position. Instead, lure him away from his position, thus separating him from his source of strength. If you encounter a strong enemy on the battlefield, you must make good use of tactics, use illusions to make the enemy leave the station, entice him to follow you, lose his advantage, make him difficult everywhere, hard to walk from active to passive, and win by surprise. One should skillfully use small profits to seduce the enemy from their solid defenses, entice them to the military's advantageous war zone. Our side can then become passive and take advantage of the weather, geographical condition, and man-made conditions to defeat the enemy. Tiger refers to the enemy, mountain refers to the favorable terrain or area occupied by the enemy. If the enemy occupies a favorable terrain and has a large number of troops and strict precautions, we must not attack hard at this time. The correct way is to lure by design, to lead the enemy out of their solid stronghold, or to lure the enemy into an area that is beneficial to our army, and only then we can win.欲擒故纵. In order to capture, one must let loose. A cornered enemy will often do a final desperate attack. To prevent this, you let the enemy believe that he still has a chance for freedom. His will to fight is thus dampened by his desire to escape. When in the end the freedom is proven falsehood, the enemy's morale will be defeated and he will surrender without a fight. Fighting is only a matter of destroying the enemy and seizing the territory. It is undesirable to force the poor conspiracy dogs to jump into the wall in a hurry, dying and struggling, and losing our own soldiers to guard. Leaving him alone is not the same as putting the tiger back to mountain. The purpose is to let the enemy's fighting spirit gradually slacken off, and the physical and material resources will gradually be consumed. Finally, he will look for opportunities to wipe out the enemy and destroy. It is not about chasing but how to chase. The enemy is anxious and it had to concentrate its energy and fight back. It is better to temporarily relax a step, make the enemy lose vigilance, relax the fighting spirit, and then wait for the opportunity to wipe out the enemy. Ordinarily, the goal of capturing the enemy coach has been achieved and the enemy will not have a strong fighting power for a while. After winning the chase, you can break the enemy. Pao Zhuān Yingyu, tossing out a brick to get a jade gem. Bait someone by making him believe he gains something or just make him react to it and obtain something valuable from him in return. In war, there are many ways to confuse the enemy. The best way is not to use visible methods or plausible methods but to apply very similar methods so as to be false. For example, it is a suspicious method to lure enemies by rotating flags and drums, which is often difficult to work. The method of using old and weak soldiers or discarding grain and firewood to lure the enemy is a similar method. In this way, it is easy to confuse the enemy and get result, because the similar method is more likely to cause the illusion of the enemy and make its judgment wrong. Of course, to use this plan, you must fully understand the situation of enemy general, including their military level, psychological qualities, personality characteristics, so that this plan can be effective. Throwing bricks and inviting jade from Tuan Lang Lu. According to legend, the Tang dynasty poet Chang Qian heard that Chao Huan was going to visit Lingyan temple in Suzhou. In order to invite Chao Huan to write poetry, Chang Qian first wrote two sentences on the temple wall. After seeing Chao Huan, he immediately wrote two more sentences and continued to write better than the previous two sentences. Later, the literati called Chang Qiang's practice throwing bricks and introducing jade. This tactics is used in the military. It refers to using similar things to confuse and deceive the enemy, make them ignorant, get in the trap, and then take the opportunity to defeat the enemy. Brick and jade are a metaphor of image. Brick refers to small profits and is an embroidered bait. Jade refers to the purpose of combat, that is, big victory. Introduction of jade is the goal. Throwing bricks is the means to achieve the goal. Fishing require bait. Let the fish taste a little sweetness before it gets the hook. Enemies take a bit of the cheap before they get caught in the trap and eat big losses.擒贼擒王, defeat the enemy by capturing their chief. If the enemy's army is strong but it is allied to the commander only by money, superstition, or threats, then take aim at the leader. If the commander falls, the rest of the army will disperse or come over to your side. If, however, they are allied to the leader through loyalty, then beware, the army can continue to fight even after his death out of vengeance. In the war, defeating the enemy, the interests are inexhaustible. If you are satisfied with a small victory and miss the opportunity to get a big victory, it is the victory of soldiers, the problem of general, the courage of coach, and the loss of power. After a small victory without destroying the main force of the enemy, without destroying the headquarters of the enemy and capturing the leader of the enemy, it would be like sending a tiger back to the mountain and endless troubles. The snake can't do without a head. If the snake is hit at head, the snake will be finished. This strategy is used in military, which refers to the strategy of defeating the main force of the enemy. capturing the leader of the enemy and completely disintegrating the enemy. Capturing a thief or a king is to kill the enemy leader or destroy the enemy's head office. The enemy is in chaos and is easy to defeat. Commanders cannot be satisfied with small victories. They must look at the overall situation and expand the result to achieve a complete victory. If you miss the opportunity and let go of the main force of the enemy and the enemy leader, it is like sending the tiger back to the mountain.